Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with... Oh, sorry, want to close that? Yeah, raid call. I'm back with a new replay that I just downloaded from Casted, and ARG! I forgot to get my casting set up good to go. Jeez, what is up with me today? Alright, there we go. Just click on accept, then I'm gonna go back to that again, and oopsie, choose my hotkeys. There we go, observer. Sorry about that, but with a few moments, we were actually able to correct that. As you can see, I can no longer scroll from screen to screen with my new mouse. And if you guys will just excuse my, I don't know what you would call it, some volume hiccups, if you will. I'm actually using a new sound card right now, but without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce both players. Spawning is our turn in the red trunks, lower right-hand corner of the map. It is DarkNiTe. Wow, and the sound just sounds, you know, right now it's just absolutely loud on my end. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, we'll find out in a few minutes. And spawning as our Protoss in the blue trunks in the upper left hand corner, his name is Link. Yes, it seems like both of these players took their names really from really mass popular media. Who can blame them? There's nothing wrong with that, right? And my god, you know, it just sounds so amazing listening to StarCraft 2 in what appears to be like some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? 3D sound format. I'm using SteelSeries Siberia headset in combination with this new sound card that I bought. It is called and I recommend you guys buy it if you use headsets as well. The Fatality Blaster Recon 3D. Pretty standard. I bought it for about $85 from Best Buy. You could probably get it online cheaper, but of course I didn't feel like waiting for it. But let's get back to the game. Coming from our Terran, very standard opener, I want to say. And I must apologize that I actually loaded the Chinese client, the traditional script client. But here we go. The refinery and the barracks both going down. I'm wondering if we're going to have enough gas for a Reaper as soon as the barracks is done, or if maybe this is, you know, maybe it'll come a few seconds afterwards, who knows. But a follow-up from our Protoss is looking relatively standard. Interesting place to put a gateway at this early stage in the game. But of course, gas on one base is also relatively standard as well. Alright, and it looks like we finally have the orbital command on way for DarkNiTe. And the probe came in and saw everything. Yes, everything that was being done. And it looks like, what is Link going to do with this probe here, you know? He's kind of just... That's, you know, this is, I don't know what to make of this just yet. What's he doing? He's just kind of dashing around with it. But to me, this looks like it could be a Korean-style 1-1-1. I say this Korean-style because in Platinum League on the Korean server, it's extremely common to see this 3 supply depot wall off at the top of the choke, and then, possibly doing, you know, just doing a tech follow-up basically is what we're going to see. But that was interesting. We just had the supply depot get cancelled. Huh. Just as my client had gotten a hiccup. Reactor's about to finish up on this, and it looks like it's probably going to be a double Reaper opening. Something very rarely seen, but still viable. And now I hear sounds in-game that I've never heard before. I'm sorry, guys. I should really just shut up about the sound card, but really, it's amazing. I recommend you guys get it. Alright, and DarkNiTe is going to go straight for a command center, a second command center. Now, the only complaint... You know what? Forget it. I was actually going to go back to the sound card, but forget the sound card! Let's get back to the game. Stalker is moving out. And we have the probe waiting in a rather discreet corner right here. It's not spotted by any of these Marines just yet. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, it would... You know, it would be more than viable for it to maybe throw down a stealthy pylon, but of course I think here would be the only amount of room humanly available to throw it down. This is looking like some kind of a hidden offensive, really. Mothership core out already, a second gas also on the way, and it looks like the Zealot was shot away. No, not shoot away. Certainly not shoot away, but shot away. Several lower health Marines and so on and so forth in that composition, but no. I'm sorry, this is just something I have to do real quick, and that is just turn down the in-game volume just a teeny bit on my end. You know what? No, I'll just... Sorry about that. I'm just going to turn down the volume control on my headset right now. There we go. That goes much, much better with what I'm doing. Now we have the natural finishing up for Terran, and the natural for Protoss is actually not that far behind. Also, this is looking like it's going to be... I wouldn't say faint pressure, but, you know, it's pretty standard. And this is reminiscent of a 1-1-1 of some sort. But of course, as stated before with other casts involving Terrans, you know, basically the 1-1-1 is all up to, you know, it's really mobile and, ooh, that's a stalker that's not going home alive. It's really versatile, and it all depends on, you know, the feeling of the player, really. I mean, that's what we saw about a year ago, a few MLGs ago. What was happening was, I like this defensive Widow Mine, not a bad idea. What was trending was a few MLGs ago, this was back when I was in Taiwan, there were double Banshee timings on the 1-1-1. Looks like we got these two lazy probes not going to work. Yes, that was a reference to my clanmate Lazy Probes, and wow, what is this all about? Ah, poor Stalker, he's stuck. Poor guy, poor guy, poor guy. I wonder if I missed any workers killed. There's only been one from each side of the map, so it must have been the scouting workers. I'm just thinking to myself, is there any way an idiot like me could have missed that? But this is quite the interesting opener that we have so far. Starport with a tech lab on it. This is also interesting as well. Well, this is looking like, yeah, it's going to be a mech transition. I don't really try to I don't try to pay too much attention to the casted threads because, like, I mean, a replay is a replay. It's a surprise in itself. It's something that, you know, we should cast. I mean, like, maybe it would be okay to just list. I would kind of shy away from this myself, but if possible, try to just say, oh, well, this is the matchup, and here's how long the replay lasted. Of course, I know I'm in to cast a long game already, but I won't, you know, I won't give more than that much information away. But here we go. Mech transition being given away, we now have Hellbats entering the composition along with a Thor that is now in production. And it looks like we have Link still on a relatively low number of gates. He's got a Forge, and he's going for the Twilight Council, so we're going to see some Blink Stalkers eventually. But one thing that I think is also viable with this would possibly be a straight-up tech-up into DTs. He certainly has the economy for it. Excuse me. He doesn't have the long-term economy for it, like the ability to just constantly crank out DTs. Anyone can do that, but of course, making sure it's viable is another story. But here we go. It looks like this is a definitive tech-up from here, and this is quite a dangerous, quite a risky move versus a bio composition from Terran. The Templar Archives. The reason why is because when you're facing bio, you need AoE, and when you're doing AoE, you're gonna need things like, you know, just constant shooting, firing, and more constant attacks that will hit more than one tiny target. This is interesting already. We have a, you know, we got a Raven in the composition. What's, you know, this seems like a few too many Marines for me, honestly. And of course, one thing that I must stress about this, I found this out myself. I am a Zerg player, so perhaps it's, you know, it's pretty much, wow, what is this all about? We actually don't have enough workers coming out right now from Link, I think, excuse me, from DarkNiTe. If we just check the income right now, yeah, that's not pretty. I mean, 36 workers to 54, and the third is already on the way, you know. I mean, when you've got more than, let's say here, 20, okay, when you've got more than 16, 32, and then another 12, once you have more than 44 workers, and you can see that your Protoss opponent is oversaturating on purpose, at this level of play, it is indicative that they are going to take a third very soon, or at least they're going to try, like, as is the case here. Scouting Phoenix comes in here and basically gets a read into what we have from our Terran. Looks like he was being microed at the last second, so this to me says that, you know, basically Link knows what he's up against, more or less. Presently he knows what he's up against, but, you know, I can't help but say it. The economy right now for DarkNiTe, you know, he hasn't taken any harass, and he's already pretty much under on workers. This is a little scary, really. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes facing off against this Protoss. Income is the name of the game, guys, and it's a custom map in StarCraft. That was a joke. And we have Link going into super defensive turtle mode right here. That's going to help him towards the late game. But what can he do to prevent this drop from going down? Is there anything? He doesn't have any vision out here in the sky. In this position, I would feel relatively naked as a Protoss player. And here we go. The medevac drop is going in. Probes have been pulled. And just one Widow Mine's going to burrow here for now. And it does finish burrowing. Yes, it does. But the medevac drop itself is kind of pulling back. Ooh. and it looks like it just got a Stalker. Now, here's the fun fact of the day. Widow Mines, if they hit an Immortal, they will actually do more than just 10 damage. Yes, I just thought maybe you guys would like to know that. It looks like maybe we're gonna have this medevac get maybe shot down by a Stalker if it isn't lucky. No, I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Oh! Ooh. It got away just in time. Oh my god. One more shot and maybe 2 more shots and it would have done it. But this is an interesting transition that we have from Link. He's actually going into Sky Toss. This versus this many Thors would definitely be a wise choice. Vikings, I'm not quite so sure about. Yes, actually, now that I think about it, because we can see down here that they are armored. They are not light units. Yes, that is the real-life hack that I call my major, and that would be Chinese. Third Stargate on the way as well, and the question is, how many Void Rays do we have from I was going to say each player, excuse me. We actually have a total of 2 Void Rays now out on the map for Link. He previously had none, I believe. He had to. Yeah, it was basically none. And where is that scan going down? There it is. So now DarkNiTe can see what he's up against. He's like, oh, crap. But he doesn't know how many Void Rays he's up against. If he was to move into this now, I think he would fare relatively well. He would just have to make extremely meticulously great use of his Widow Mines. Zealot's kind of moving out around the map. They're just trying to get a good read on where on Earth Link maybe, excuse me, not Link, but DarkNiTe maybe trying to expo to. And of course, income was kind of a problem earlier for DarkNiTe. He's kind of caught up, but I mean, there's going to be areas where he's, just suffered inevitably. He's on 1-1 upgrades. He's about to get 2 and 2. And of course, our Protoss is already on 1-1. He's not actually getting 2-2. That's actually going to be quite dangerous. And we have High Templars kind of in back. I don't know what they could do against Thors. I mean, really. Ooh, but hold on. What's going on here? It looks like the Void Rays are actually going to be pulled to attack the mineral line. They would actually, if they were to target down that command center, that orbital command, I'm thinking they would actually kill it with relative ease. Looks like the gas is being taken down. Oh no, and Link is not paying attention to these Void Rays. They're gonna go down. 3 of them fall. Beautiful storm going off on those Widow Mines, but he needs 1 more. There it is, and that is definitely not going to help DarkNiTe out. Looks like these Vikings kind of accidentally flew into the Archons. But we still have a good deal of Thors here. Oh man, and up until this point, the biggest threat to those Thors were the Void Rays. Right now, there's I don't think there might have been 1 or 2 left after that, but yeah, there's still 1 left. Lucky guy, last of the Void Rays. But of course, let's go and see what kind of transition we're going to see from here. We have, wow, double robotics bay going down for Link. What is this? Is this the beginning of Wings of Liberty all over again, guys? So we have triple robotics bay from Link. I'm a little curious, just what does he have planned with this? Of course, he's taking what appears to be one expo after another. He's going to be ahead of his opponent economically. What is the worker count at right now? Okay, it's about this high. And here we go. DarkNiTe, he's moving out. He's 200, 200. He's like, okay, well, now I have to try and kill you. Which looks like maybe his present motive. Beautiful storms going down, and it looks like the Vikings are in some trouble. Feedbacks going down on the medevacs. Means they won't be able to heal the Hellbats, but that's about it. Hellbats are tanky units. They're supposed to die, is what I've heard, but oh my god, the Vikings, they're only there to deal with 1 Void Ray, and that's it. They need to land themselves to actually get that attack in, and here we go. Storm's going down to deal with the Marines. Link just kind of pulling back, trying to turtle into this while he gets some kind of reinforcements out, and it looks like we had Photon Overcharge going down onto the 3rd. Ooh, but the natural is what's in big trouble right now. It looks like we might just have 1 or 2 Thors fall here. No, it's doubtful now. The Vikings have landed, and it looks like we have, basically DarkNiTe is getting into, I don't know, he's getting sandwiched right now. It's a little, I think we might just see Link hold, maybe. But he has to get more and more Immortals out. He's chronoing them out. 2 more appeared. right here, just now, and it looks like slowly but surely we actually have Link prevailing. There's only 2 Thors left. The Widow Mines are actually close to useless. There it is. The last Thor falls along with the Viking. And now, with the present amount of income that we see for both players, we're going to see Link relaxedly, with ease, remax relatively soon. Or at least he'll be able to remax faster, but right now, you know, DarkNiTe, he realizes just what kind of situation he was in, and behind that, he should have actually attacked and expoed. He should have taken his, you know, his pocket 3 o'clock position expo right here, but he didn't, and it looks like he, at the last second, decided to recall this one Thor. So right now, he's doing so, you know, it's like so far so good. More, holy gateways, Batman, that is a lot of infrastructure that we see right here. A lot of defensive turtling, too. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Of course, especially given the fact that Terran is extremely mobile in the late game with drops. But, I mean, it just depends on where the drops go and how they go. Main is about mine dry, and the natural is not that far behind for both players. So, actually, for Link, his natural looks relatively okay, but I mean, you know, it could change in a heartbeat. Here we go, Link just going in, doing the harassment move, and that's about it. But I'm a little curious to see how he's going to follow this up. How's he going to follow up the attack that he went with before? He's actually got the robotics support bay? Robotics bay in production right now to help crank out Colossi. And now we're going towards what it appears to be like the kind of typical, to be expected late game composition, but this I don't think is going to work out too well for DarkNiTe. I mean, excuse me, for Link. If we just look at the number of Hellbats, I mean, just think of the amount of times they can attack an Immortal in a minute compared to how many times they can attack a, you know, basically both units are bad against the other. One unit is bad against the other. More than, you know, I mean, just look at this. But Widow Mines, once they attack an Immortal or an Immortal that is right next to an Immortal, they will do the maximum damage that is listed on their ability description. EMP is going down on the Immortals, and this is not going to end well for Link. He could end up losing a good deal of these Immortals, but no, he's actually going to, oh wow, this is just not working out for DarkNiTe. You know, the shields go off on those, but his Hellbats are just way out of position. They were supposed to tank for the Thors, and now we just see DarkNiTe, you know, he's trying to retreat with his last units. It just doesn't work out. And see, this is one of those new metas that is hard to tell because it's still relatively new. We're still trying to figure out what's going on here. At least I am. I know I am. I don't know about you guys. Ooh, Widow Mine's going out, and the Archons fall. Well, at least one Archon falls. These 2 Widow Mines get pulled back with no shots left to fire. Checking the income tab right now, we actually have DarkNiTe not, you know, he's actually kind of skyrocketing, but right now he's got to find something to spend all of his minerals on. The question is, like, I'm not too terribly familiar with Terran units. I mean, like, yeah, okay, it looks like he's going to spend most of it on Hellbats. Meanwhile, we have Link coming back, and I think this could potentially be the final push, I'm thinking. You know, you kind of lost a few Immortals back there, but I mean, it's all going to come down to the Widow Mine connections, and of course, the Void Rays will get a buff versus all the Thors. The Thors are going to, like, melt like butter under a hot knife. They're going to cut through the Thors like a hot knife through butter. Excuse me. Didn't mean to say that, but there's a couple Widow Mines here, and it looks like the Stalkers are going to go in and kite them, if you will. Like, go ahead and set them off. And the main army of Link is just sitting right here, waiting, and trying to figure out whether he should move into attack or whether he should just, you know, maybe just pull the main army out of position for a slight minute. Meanwhile, both players, you know, they're kind of turtling. You know, there's no other way to say it. I mean, SC2 is kind of, like, excuse me, Heart of the Swarm is kind of just a slower-ish paced game. More like Brood War, actually, because if you make a mistake, it can be less critical. I mean, you know, if you look back at Wings of Liberty, if a Zerg player lost maybe 6 or 7 Infestors, you know, that was it, GG. But with what we see here, I mean, there's some things that can come back and counteract that. Like if, say, DarkNiTe was to lose most of his Thors here, which are really expensive, you know, he could come back and get away safely using Widow Mines. This basically would force, you know, Link to move around the Widow Mines or destroy the Widow Mines or set them off one at a time, slowly, slowly, slowly. But hold that thought. Here we go. Huge engagement right here. The Void Rays are going to absolutely decimate the Thors. Just look at them. They're melting. They're going down one at a time. Now, two at a time. And the Immortals are going to do so much more added damage that I don't think we're going to see DarkNiTe be able to remax in time to take down Link in this composition. We just have to wait and see. Link is going to be pushing back. Right, no. Pushing back, right, yes. Okay. He's going to check for Expos first. I kind of like that move because we actually do have an Expo that's going to be going down at the upper right. But at the same time, you know, I just think he should just straight up push back and attack, strictly given the amount of leftover forces that he had and the amount of reinforcing zealots he could ever have, that he could just, you know, straight up throw at somebody. But it looks like, speaking of throwing away, he's probably going to... Oh no, he's just going to see what his opponent's main composition is right now. It's 170 supply to 140. We do have DarkNiTe opting to take that upper right Expo, and it looks like we have Link catching onto that. The Void Rays, you know, the Immortals, they're not going to let that land. It's just, no, it's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. He didn't activate Prismatic Alignment, which I can appreciate. That's much more important for critical engagements. Besides that, he had enough units on the ground that can attack air, so it doesn't really matter. Scan going down for our Terran player. Maybe he's trying to figure out just where his opponent is. Yes, and he's just bit the dust in terms of scouting. He needs to realign all of his scouting units. Single Zealot here, not quite on the tower. It doesn't really matter too much. I'm curious, does single Zealot kill a single Hellbat? Nah, I don't think so. So here we go. It looks like Link is at about 200, and now is the appropriate time to push back. But where's the gas income at right now? He's doing pretty okay with that. Yeah, especially provided that he's already got Geyser in the main that's already mined out. And I'm thinking right now it'd be an okay to go ahead and take an additional base. He's already got a Zealot in position to make sure that his opponent doesn't take this one. And here we go. Looks like he's actually going to take this pocket-ish 12 o'clock position. Base 1 o'clock-ish position. Yes. And 2 Widow Mines in position. Ooh, but they get sniped before they even get the chance to shoot out their very much beaded splash damage. And oh my god, this Orbital Command goes down again. It looks like this refinery is going to be taken down. No. And Suffocation is the name of the game now, because we actually have Link trying to deny his opponent resource income. SCVs are being pulled now because if, you know, at this stage in the game, we're seeing DarkNiTe, he's going to need the SCVs to repair the Thors. They're not going to help too much against Prismatic Alignment, but also clearing away the supply will help. And here's the huge engagement of the game. I think it could be one of the last ones. The Thors have their splash damage, Javelin missiles coming out, but I don't think it's going to quite be enough. Maybe it will be. It's just so close. I can't tell. There's a handful of Thors left. It looks like slowly but surely we actually have Link prevailing. If the Hellbats destroy all the ground forces, it doesn't matter because there's nothing left that can shoot up besides the handful of ghosts that are right here that are being targeted down. The EMPs come, but they're just too late, and now the Void Rays are targeting down everything on the ground. These Photon Cannons are now having to deal with the Hellbats, and this looks like this base might just be in trouble. Stalkers being called in to deal with these Hellbats. They're not the best choice. They only do so much damage. They do relatively very little damage against them, but they actually move faster, so they can outmaneuver them if used appropriately. There we go. Void Rays are taking down the Stalker, or excuse me, the Void Rays are taking down the Hellbats, but of course, looks like, you know, DarkNiTe, he's doing this in a desperate bid to retake an Expo, and the question is, does Link catch onto it? You know, he's running right by it right now. Oh, and there it is. He knows that it's there. He knows for a fact that it's finished. He saw a command center in construction, and if DarkNiTe loses this, then I'm sorry, I just don't see him coming back. I mean, just look at the income that we have right now. It's so, you know, it's so high right now, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's just so low. This is his last bid. There's only a handful of ghosts here, basically. Planetary Fortress being morphed right now, and an SCV coming desperately to repair. Both players realizing, you know, they're getting increasingly closer to one another with or without noticing it. And I think, you know, this right now, the supply discrepancy, it just tells the story. You know, 40-something supply ahead of his opponent. I think we're gonna have to see DarkNiTe basically get suffocated out of this one. I mean, here we go. I said before it was one of the final engagements of the game, but this is the very last one that we are likely to see coming up soon. Link has to actually engage this quite meticulously carefully because of these ghosts and their EMPs. A few of these are actually close to full on energy. But of course, my biggest concern right now for Link is his ground army. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Void Rays just raffle stomp everything that is capable of attacking them because of their prismatic alignment and the sheer number of armored units that we have here. But here we go. It looks like DarkNiTe just says it. I have to attack now. And we have all the micro in the world, but it's not going to be enough for DarkNiTe. The supply discrepancy is simply far too large. We have Link slowly but surely prevailing, and there it is. DarkNiTe has been defeated in Chinese, is what it says. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Excuse me.